Hi, I decided to do something a little different for Tipsy Tuesday today. I'm actually filming this on Saturday, National Scrapbooking Day, and I got a special treat in the mail. The mailman, or mail person, brought me a package from 2Ps, so I got some new stuff that I ordered last week, and I wanted to share it with you and share a tip about a couple of tips about purchasing papers that work very well for scrapbooking and for card making, and will stretch your dollar a little bit too. This first paper is from My Mind's Eye, their Good Day Sunshine collection. I understand this is a really popular paper with the clouds, and that's what I really bought it for. But once I got the paper, I saw this great backing to it, or B-side to it, and I know I'm going to want to order more of this paper. I'm finding myself looking for more and more papers that make good backgrounds for my scrapbook pages, and if I can use something off the other side, that's great, but you want some nice neutral backgrounds, and this is certainly one of those. So this paper wasn't on sale, but it's a really great paper to have in the stash. Now, these next three papers are a little bolder, and if you're like me, you may or not be a big holiday person. I do a lot of stuff around Christmas, but I don't really do much with Halloween. And while these little houses for Halloween are really cute, it's unlikely they would ever get used by themselves. But I bought these three papers very, very inexpensively for the B-sides, because all of them had great complementary patterns on the back side, and this is what I'll really use them for. And I think these were 20 or 30 cents a piece. They were marked down. I always check the 75–80% off sections of whatever scrapbooking site I'm on to see what kinds of good papers I can use. And don't overlook those holiday papers like the Halloween papers. Even if you're not a Halloween or a Valentine's person, the back sides might be just right up your alley. So I got a nice window pane check, a polka dot, and then this other yellow circle paper for the three of them for less than $1. And another thing that you might find in the sales section are papers that you can punch out or cut out and use like you would a die cut. This was from Cosmo Cricket and their Joyride collection. I don't remember what's on the back side. Has a nice B-side print to it. But what I got it for were these little symbols that I thought would be perfect to punch out and use as embellishment on my travel pages. So they're not real super travel oriented. They can really blend in easily with any kind of a travel theme, just arrows and luggage and all kinds of things that I thought would work great for that. Okay. All right. Then the next thing, and my favorite thing, I've been waiting for this. This is from Basic Grey. They released 4 new collections recently. This is their Sweet Threads collection, and I'm going to flip through these papers pretty quickly so you can see some of the great designs that they have. The reason it's called Threads is, I guess, because it has this woven look to it behind all the prints. It is, though, a smooth paper. It has a little bit of a linen look, but it does not have a linen texture. This is one of my favorites. I got 2 pieces of this because, again, I was looking for those good background papers, and I thought that this lighter color would make a great background for my scrapbook pages. But I like the front side of this one, too. And there are many more of these. The other reason why I like the Sweet Threads collection, besides just the colors, I mean, these are great colors for me and the kinds of things that I do, is these papers, unlike a lot of Basic Grey, do not have a lot of heavy distressing on them. There's a little bit darker around the edges, but not a lot. And you can always add distressing, but you can't take it away. And it's very unlikely that I'm going to use all these papers for scrapbooking. I'm probably going to use some of them for card making. And when you're making a card, you start cutting up a paper, you can end up with one corner with a lot of distressing and the other corners not. So I really like to look for papers that don't have a lot of distressing. I can add it, I can't take it away. So that was why I was really attracted to this particular collection from Basic Grey. Okay. And those are really the tips that I had for you today. Now the rest of the stuff is just fun stuff that I bought and I wanted to share with you. This trim is from Webster's pages. I picked this out back months ago when we saw some of the new CHA stuff, and I didn't even notice until I got my package in how great it goes with these new papers in the Sweet Threads collection. All these colors just match beautifully. But Webster's Pages does some of the most gorgeous trims. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I just love it. So we've got a lot of great things. There's even an elastic kind of trim. I guess that's supposed to be sort of a lingerie trim. Oranges, just wonderful textures to those. Now, stamps that I have gotten recently. This came in my latest shipment. This is from My Mind's Eye. Very often you can buy some inexpensive stamp sets from the paper companies. And this was only $6, which I thought was a great buy for this many stamps. And there's another stamp set that goes with Stella Rose that has some borders to it and some labels and stuff, and I'd like to get that one as well. But I'm sure you've seen this has been used a lot. It was out of stock, and I was able to get it in stock. So it will make some really attractive embellishment for pages. I got a couple of things from Technique Tuesday I've already started using on some of my scrapbook pages that are on my blog. I really thought these words were going to be larger. I was a little surprised with that, but I am finding them very useful to me, these Allie Edwards stamps. And I've been getting a lot more background images. This is from Hero Arts, the Line Dots. This is a great red rubber stamp. Large Blossom, I've only used once. You're going to see it on the card here in a few minutes. Great stamp. I know I can do a lot of fun things with that. I've used this one a couple of times already, this ledger stamp. I found myself constantly buying ledger paper, so I figured that having a ledger stamp to do journaling would make good sense. So I bought this one, and I set up a Word document on my computer where I have it so that the spacing is right, and I can print out my journaling. I have a document that's where I can cut my paper this size, stamp it, and then print on the stamped image and get my journaling lined up the way I want to in the particular font that I selected. So I know that one's going to get a lot of use. I have not used this yet. This came from Hobby Lobby. It's a paper studio stamp. My mother is a big animal print person, so I know I'll get to use that. I've had this one for a few months now from also from Hobby Lobby. It's from Hot Off the Press, and it's a Stitches set. I've looked at a lot of Stitches sets, and I really, really liked this one. This one wasn't cheap. It was a little more expensive set, but it has a lot of different stitches in them, and they look really realistic. I was even surprised at this grosgrain ribbon, how nice it looked when it was printed, or when it was stamped. Okay. And just a couple of other things with paper. The Campfire collection, I talked about this on my blog before. These 8x8 or 6x6 paper pads that have smaller versions of the large patterns are wonderful for your die cutters to cut out letters or embellishments. I've already been using this red and white polka dot. Just a lot of great prints in this one. I know I'll use that red or that blue and green, and I like these stars too. Another polka dot. And although we don't camp, we do hike, so some of these things will be useful to us. And a paper collection that I've been cutting up all over the place is Campy Trails from American Crafts. I've already had to order more of a couple of these papers. These wood grains in particular, also good background images to have the wood grains, and this has a really pretty B-side to it. So those are some of the things that I've been buying lately and why I've been buying them. So anyway, thank you for visiting today. Oh, wait a minute, there's one more thing. Don't forget. I've mentioned these a few times on my blog, and I've called them by the wrong name. These are from Stampin' Up, which uses that large flower, a large blossom stamp from Hero Arts on this card. But this is these brads are from Stampin' Up, and they're actually called antique brads. I've been calling them vintage. They're called antique, and I have 3 left that I haven't used out of a big pack. But these are a good buy. They're $5.95, and you get 20 or 24. I can't remember the number, but you get a lot of brads, and they're really beautiful brads that you can use. So I think sometimes we kind of forget about Stampin' Up and all the embellishments that they have, but they have some really, I've found that they have some nice metal embellishments, and so that's just another thing to consider when you're out shopping. Anyway, thank you for visiting with me today, and please leave me a comment or some feedback on my blog. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you. Bye-bye.